1 hour ago, Ukraine FPV Drone Quickly Blast truck full North Korean troop to dead scattered in Kursk. Struggling to make good the loss of thousands of armored vehicles, the Russian military has long relied on unarmored vehicles, motorbikes, all-terrain vehicles, vans and trucks to carry infantry into battle. But the pickup truck and sedan assault outside the fortress city of Pokrovsk this week may have marked an inflection point. It was possibly one of the first significant Russian attacks where all the vehicles were civilian models. It's an ominous development for Russia, but not necessarily a decisive one. As a Ukrainian drone observed from on high, a platoon or company-sized Russian force assembled outside Pokrovsk in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk Oblast climbed into at least 7 trucks and cars and rolled toward Ukrainian positions. One of the vehicles flew an old Soviet flag. The outcome should shock no one. Russia's best armored vehicles are vulnerable on the shell-pocked, mine-infested, drone-patrolled landscape outside Pokrovsk. Its worst unarmored vehicles are even more vulnerable. The attack was successfully repelled, officer, a popular Ukrainian military blogger, reported Saturday. The car with the rag, the Soviet flag, was given special attention. Capturing Pokrovsk is a major objective for the Russians as their wider war on Ukraine lurches toward its 4th year. A large Russian force has been grinding toward Pokrovsk since ejecting the ammunition-starved Ukrainian garrison from the city of Avdiivka, 37 miles to the east. The Ukrainian garrison in Pokrovsk, anchored by a trio of Jaeger and airborne brigades, is badly outnumbered by a Russian field army with 8 or 9 brigades and regiments. But trading space for time and opportunities to bleed the Russians, the Ukrainians have knocked out around 2,000 Russian vehicles while losing just 500 of their own. The Kremlin can't generate enough fresh vehicles fast enough to replace all its losses on the Pokrovsk axis. Russian industry probably builds fewer than 1,000 new infantry fighting vehicles a year. At the same time, stocks of old Cold War vehicles are running out. One major storage yard at the 22nd Central Tank Reserve Base in Kostroma Oblast in western Russia is practically empty. Hence the pickup trucks and cars and the decisive defeat of that recent attack toward Pokrovsk. But not all Russian assault groups are so poorly equipped, and not all of them get beat. By employing small, continuous assaults, Russian troops eventually expose and exploit weak points in Ukrainian defenses, explained Titrigami, founder of the Frontelligence Insight Analysis Group. While this approach results in high Russian losses, which deemed unsustainable in the long term, it has proven effective in the short to medium term. That the pickup and sedan assault failed doesn't mean the overall Russian offensive will fail. The Russians are racing against the coming depletion of their vehicle reserves to capture as much of Ukraine as they can. Time and attrition may save most of Ukraine, but possibly not Pokrovsk. A combined attack on a command post in Zaporizhia has killed 3 high-ranking Russian officers, according to Ukrainian officials. 3 officers of the leadership of the Russian occupation forces were eliminated as a result of a successful operation, the main intelligence directorate of Ukraine's Defense Ministry announced via Facebook on Friday. The operation, a joint effort between Ukraine's Defense Ministry, Security Service, and Armed Forces, was carried out using a high-mobility artillery rocket system HIMARS, followed by a drone attack which struck the evacuating group of the invaders. The Intelligence Directorate shared footage of the attack on X, depicting a massive explosion at a remote outpost, followed by what seems to be the use of multiple cluster munitions. As a result, Kiev claims that 2 officers of Russia's 135th Motorized Rifle Regiment were killed, alongside 1 commander of the anti-aircraft battery of the 4th Guards military base. These officers, the intelligence directorate said, were participating in the criminal war against Ukraine in the Zaporizhia region, which has been the theater of intense fighting since the oblast was annexed by Russia. According to Ukraine's Ministry of Defense, the 3 officers killed in the operation were Captain Dmitry Nagorny, Captain Grigory Krochmalyev, and Captain Yuri Fomin. The elimination of 3 officers, if confirmed, would represent a successful step in Kiev's strategy of targeting Russian military officials and individuals overseeing the invasion.